Hey guys, my name is Mr. Taylor. So glad you could join me today. Today we're going to do a video lesson on linear equations. Let's get started. So the basics for lines, you can have a horizontal line, you can have vertical lines. Those are the most simple. So let's just break those down a little bit more. Horizontal lines. I want to teach you the word HOY. H-O-Y. I know it's not a real word. Okay? But it's a little acronym to help you remember a few things. The H means you have a horizontal line. The O means you have zero slope. There is no slope when you have a horizontal line. And the Y means we will write every equation in the form Y equals. So horizontal line, zero slope, Y equals equation. That's HOY. So the basics for lines, you can have a horizontal line, you can have vertical lines. Those are the most simple. So let's just break those down a little bit more. Let's talk vertical lines. Here we want to learn the term VUX, V-U-X. V stands for the fact that you have a vertical line. In this case, the U means you have an undefined slope, which means you're writing the equation just as an x equals. So that's our VUX, vertical line, undefined slope, x equals. So the basics for lines, you can have a horizontal line, you can have vertical lines. Those are the most simple. So let's just break those down a little bit more. So let's look at a couple of examples that deal with HOY VUX. Here you can see that we have this line. It looks like it's a vertical line, and it's actually going through the number 5. Well, since it's a vertical line, I'm going to use VUX, V-U-X. Vertical, undefined slope, means x equals. Well, what number did we cross through? Ooh, we crossed through the number 5. So my equation for this problem would just be x equals 5. Well, what if I started with the equation? What if I told you y is equal to a -3? And I want you to graph it. Well, y equals, oh, that means I'm going to use the term HOY, H-O-Y, because I have a y equals. Ooh, that means I need to have a horizontal line. That means a line that's going left and right. And it's going to have to cross through -3, so I'm going to draw my line right here. That's how we can use HOY VUX. But we know not every line is straight up and down or left and right. Sometimes lines have a slope. So how do you find a slope, which we call the letter M, if you're given 2 points? Well, the equation for a slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, where y2 means it's the second point y value, y1 means it's the first point y value. And the same thing for your x's. So let's look at an example here. Find the slope of a line that passes through the points 1, -3, and -2, -1. The first thing I like to do is always label my points. I'm going to call the very first point I see point 1. That means 1 is x1 and -3 is y1. That means -2 is x2 and -1 is y2. So if we think about our equation, we're going to plug in y2, which is a -1, minus y1, which is a -3, over x2, which is a -2, minus x1, which is a +1. I just literally filled in the blanks and replaced them. All right, so let's make that a little easier to look at because I don't like to see -1 minus -3. That's really a -1 plus a 3. And we're still over a -2 minus a 1. -1 minus a 3 is a 2. And a -2 minus a 1 is a -3. It doesn't really matter where you put the negative sign, so I'm just going to put it in front of the whole fraction. That means our slope here is a -2/3. So what's the difference between a positive slope and a negative slope? Well, this is what a positive slope looks like. As you read the graph from left to right, the line is going up. That means you have a positive slope. If you have a negative slope, as you read a graph from left to right, the graph is going down. That gives you a negative slope. Next thing we need to talk about is the y-intercept. We call that the letter B. The y-intercept is just the point where your line, or the graph, crosses the y-axis. Remember, your y-axis is going up and down. So in this case for us, y'all, we can see that we have a point right there at 2. That means that B is equal to 2. Now the other thing you want to remember about the y-intercept, the y-intercept means that your x value is 0. So if I try to come up with the ordered pair where that y-intercept is at, you'll notice it's going to be at the ordered pair is 0, 2. So that's the two different ways you can write your y-intercept. So to put it all together, once I know my slope, which is the letter M, and I know my y-intercept, which is the letter B, I'm going to plug it into the equation of my line, which is very simply y equals mx plus b. And there you go. You know everything you need to about a line. Great job. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Hope you're able to get something out of it, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day.